Good evening and salutations, my Days of Alliance fans. This episode, like most of them lately, was a mixed bag, right? Like, I'll talk about some of the stuff that I generally did like. And that pretty much was the EJ, Mark, and eventually Bell scene, right? Because in the beginning, EJ is pretty much like, I want to sit there and send this POS to jail for a very long time, right? And he pretty much tries to get him to sign a plea deal where he serves 10 years, and he's like, listen, if you don't, you're gonna serve about 25 years. In the beginning, I was like, bro, you did sit there and try to kill someone. Let's just be very clear. And yes, I understand he wants to sit there and get back his mom and everything like that, and Clyde was sitting there holding him hostage, but there was other ways that he could have went about it as opposed to trying to kill Chad or the stuff he did at the hospital, everything. There was other options he could have did. I know people would sit there and say, well, he didn't have a choice. He did have a choice. He absolutely did have a choice. And I understand why he did what he did, but he still had a choice. So part of me was not really feeling bad for him at all, to be honest. He's like, you tried to kill my brother. Okay? Jail is actually the best option for you right now, as opposed to what he would do. And Mark felt, well, one, he feels guilty about what he did. Two, he feels like he doesn't really have a lot of options. He's like, listen, maybe 10 years is better than 25. Just goes to trial. I could be screwed. I have to sit there and think about my brothers and sister and everything like that. So it is what it is. And then Bell comes in. Bell's like, don't you sit there and sign anything. And when Bell came in, Bell was like, this alleged crime happened in Paris. And the last time I checked, you don't have any jurisdiction out there. And that's very true. So in reality, Paris dropped the ball by sending him back. Like, why didn't Paris not sit there and take that case at this point? So, I mean, they dropped the ball. They just let him go back to Salem. They could have just kept him there. That didn't really, unless EJ probably requested. The point is, there's not really a lot that he can do. Now, he can sit there and he can get him for like the tampering and stuff like that with the DNA and stuff. But I mean, Bell's like, you gonna do that? You gonna sit there and have to try half the Salem, including my sister. So she offers a better alternative. She's like, time served. But I think it went down to him serving like maybe a year and 8 months, which is still better than the 10 years that he was going to get. Or if EJ would have really went for it, 25 years. So Bell came in there and Bell practically scolded him. And I don't know, there's something about Bell where I'm just like, it's kind of bad. Like, I don't know. I was just like, okay, all right, Bell. Um, and I think this is pretty much where the episode goes somewhat downhill, right? Because we'll go with JJ and Gabby for a minute. He thanks Gabby for going out there and risking her life and everything like that, and to try to help the family get closure and get the remains back. But in reality, the way I saw it was like, you went out there, you could have, like, the whole thing is like, this could have just went sideways in so many different ways. And okay, I know this sounds harsh, but I want people to understand where I'm coming from, right? Gabby could have been dead. Her daughter could have been missing a mother. Chad could have been dead. And you would have practically left them an orphan after they just lost their mom. And JJ, whatever. But my whole point is that y'all did this to try to get back a lifeless body. and her spirit isn't there anymore. So when they sit there and they talk about, closure for the family and resting in peace and everything like that, I'm pretty sure that Abby would have much rather them not risk their lives to get back a body where her spirit is no longer in. Talking about, well, the family is not going to be able to heal. That's what therapy's for. That's what, like, seriously, that's what therapy's for. Imagine if JJ would have been killed. How do you think that Jen and Jack would have felt? You want closure, go to therapy. I'm not sitting there saying it's a total fix, but it's a start. And it's tools to sit there and help you with your grief as opposed to, going out there and getting Clyde and trying to get back the body and everything like that. Now, the only good outcome of this whole thing is that Clyde is no longer a threat right now. Because let's sit there and say they went that route. Clyde would have still been out there. He still would have been looming, waiting for the next chance to sit there and get them. So that's the only outcome that I actually see that was good for this whole thing. After that, Gabby and JJ, they look like they're about to kiss, and JJ asks Gabby out on a date. She says yes, and at some point she gotta sit there and move on. I don't know what the deal is with Brandon just leaving or getting fired. I have no idea which one it was, but hey, listen, Stefan's gone and JJ's in, so it is what it is. Um, I'm not super excited about the switch, if we're gonna be honest. Um, so in a sense, I do kind of feel like it's more of a downgrade, but whatever. Aaron is not really too fully understanding what's going on, and Kat has to explain it to him. And the thing is, Aaron is a kid, right? Or A Rod is a kid. Now I say that joke, and if you know where that joke came from, write it down in the comment section below. But he's worried about his mom. But the thing is, though, like, your mom actually shot him. Like, your mom wasn't in danger at this point. So some of the stuff he's saying, like, oh, well, she shot a monster. It was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to hold up in a open court. So she has to sit and explain that it's going to be an uphill battle on top of whatever mental ish that she went through while dealing with Clyde. And then they got to sit there and explain that to Felicity. And then Mark comes in, and they're gonna go see Mom Dukes or whatever. And apparently, like I said, I think he's gonna be in jail for like a year or something. Now, Belle didn't just come out of nowhere. At first, I was like, Belle, where the hell did you come from? Because usually, like with Scotty, he's the ambulance chaser, but this was because of Tate and Aaron, that got Belle on the case. I saw the preview, so Belle and EJ is gonna hook up at some point. Because I mean, well, why the hell not? Um, oh, and then Chad has to sit there and update Jack and Jennifer about their their adventure. Um, him feeling really guilty that he couldn't put his wife's body to rest, and I'm like, that's more of a mental thing. You could have been dead, and your kids would have been fatherless. So, like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know how much, like, I mean, I maybe Chad need to do this for himself or whatever, but I'm like, bro, you took a hell of a risk for your two kids. And I don't know how much worth it actually was in the end. And then they bring in the time capsule, then they start putting stuff that reminds them of Abigail, then they bury it, and I don't know, like I said, that's where it's like, especially the last few minutes was killing me. It felt like I was around kryptonite. Part of me was like, I couldn't wait for this episode to be over because again, the rest of the stuff I just generally didn't care about. Um, and it seemed like it was a scene that just lingered on for like way too long. I don't know. Uh, I think that's about it, more or less. And I guess at the end of the day, with Mark, you know, listen, this is yes, he did sit there and try to kill Chad, but he didn't. Chad is fine at the end of the day. Um, yeah, there was some laws that was broken and stuff like that, hospital policy and stuff. But you know, I guess it's one of those things where it's like no harm, no foul, really, you know. But so like the whole 10 years, yeah, I think that that might have been a bit too much because your brother is alive, you know. But he did almost try to kill him, so I don't know. Part of me when I saw him signing, it's like part of me wanted to feel bad for him, but then it was like, bro, you almost took a life, and there was options you could have took to not do that. So I'm very torn. I'm probably morally on the whole. Yeah, you did try to kill someone, so you know. But also, I think it's very, this is why I also think it's very important if you, God forbid, and when you get in trouble for something, um, not let a DA just sit there and try to railroad you, or try to, another DA try to railroad you without you actually looking at that and having any sort of benefit of counsel. Because I know public defenders generally get a bad rep, um, as far as not being good lawyers, but I'd rather have a public defender than no one. And having somebody sit there and say, well, you better take it, because if you don't, you're going to sit there and get 10 or 20 years, because they just want another win on their belt. At the end of the day, they just want another win on their belt. They got to get these cases convicted and get that win in order to sit there and keep their job. And if they got to sit there and screw you over in the process to do it, you know, there's a lot of legal jargon. That's why you're sitting there looking at it like, this guy is smart. He's a doctor, right? They're not stupid, but he just, yeah. So it's very important that you do get legal counsel. Hell, he didn't even actually get a free public defender at this point. Anyway, that's much all I got. Write in the comment section below anything I miss. Um, let me know if you heard of that AA Rod joke that I'm sitting there talking about and where it's from. Come to the live stream tonight. I'll be sitting there talking about it more. And I still have my notes from yesterday. So we could talk about yesterday's episode as well as today. As well all the other three soap operas, which is General Hospital, Days of Our Lives. General Hospital, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be doing a live stream, and we'll talk about it all day too.